Hey folks, Film Brown here at the Movies with Film. Got well, kind of an intense movie for you today. Film that going to, a lot of people do not appreciate this film as much as maybe they should. This is an Orson Welles film. It's not Citizen Kane, it's not Touch of Evil, it's not Lady from Shanghai, it's not Magnificent Ambersons. Okay, so we've named some of his films that he's really known for. It's not Chimes at Midnight, etc. It's a film that, if you read some critics of Welles, they kind of push it aside. 1946, The Stranger. Now, I can understand why perhaps they didn't recognize this in the same mode. In a way, it's different than some of his other films. He doesn't have as much control necessarily on this film as he does on others. But actually, as a matter of fact, that's sort of the nature of Welles as he progressed from Kane into this period and later. He's going to have to, when he works in the United States, be sort of happy with the amount of control that he can get. Well, let's talk about this film. This film was, really a good one to come out in 1946 because it deals with Nazi concentration camp commandants and soldiers and officials who worked and knew of the concentration camp situation, and they're fleeing to various parts of the world. And in this case, it deals with, Orson Welles, as he's known to do, plays the lead in this film. He plays, Franz Kindler, or Charles Rankin, who flees to the United States. And he used to have, a horrendous reputation in the concentration world. And he's basically tried to become a new man. He's married to Loretta Young in this film. Edward G.Robinson is in this film. Does a remarkable job as a Nazi hunter who comes to small town America where Kindler, or Welles, now has found his home at a university and is trying to, undo him, to, bring him to justice. And of course, Orson Welles realizes that he's being hunted, and there's a number of, interesting accidents and murders that occur in this film. Now, Welles is known very much for deep focus photography and for long takes. There's one remarkable long take in here that I would like to point out. It's the scene where Meineke, a man who comes to talk to Welles from the old world, comes overseas to talk to Welles, where, Meineke and he are talking out in the woods. Got a nice, long tracking shot, all in one take. I'm not going to tell you what happens at the end of that, but it's a nice scene. Richard Long is in this film as well. He plays the brother of Loretta Young. Remember Richard Long from House on the Haunted Hill, Nanny and the Professor. This film does have some truck with other Welles products. It's shot by Russell Meddy. Russell Meddy also shot Touch of Evil. So there is a Welles connection there for later works. Interesting little note, the editor of this film, Ernest Nims, he was born in Des Moines, Iowa. You like trivia? That's real trivial for you. One of the co-writers of this film was John Huston. He's not credited, but John Huston is one of the writers for this film. Now, I happen to like The Stranger. I was just talking to my wife before I came in, and she was asking, what films are you working on tonight? And I said, The Stranger is one of them. She goes, I really like that film. I really like the use of the bell tower at the end of the movie. She's on to something. The bell tower sequence at the end of this film is worth its weight in gold. And Welles does a remarkable job as this figure who is sort of a split personality. The man who loves or is pretending to love and has the shield of Loretta Young, and also the, horrendous Nazi butcher. And Loretta Young, of course, she discovers midway, or has her doubts about her new husband. And she has to sort it out. Wells does a remarkable job with this film. In a way, it reminds me of a Fritz Lang movie, okay, because it has that great division going on of trust or not to trust. And this puts this film very much into the film noir mode. Well, The Stranger, 1946, Orson Welles. I wouldn't stack it up there with Touch of Evil, but certainly I would have to recognize it as being in a film.